Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's talk about reading, okay? This is gonna be the first video in hopefully a long series entitled just, goddamn, I wish I would read, or wish we would read. Because it's a lot of information that's being put out on little videos, and I understand, people's attention spans are short, especially in this day and age. Think about back in the day, the only form of entertainment that a lot of our ancestors had were reading or telling the stories, sitting down listening to, the elders tell stories or whatever. But, print was the main form of learning, education, entertainment, sustenance, if you will. But nowadays it's, 15-second, 1 minute, 2 minute TikTok, Instagram videos, or whatever. And so most of us get our information from those little tidbits of information and sound bites, and we think we know everything. And then we're like in awe of what we hear, when in actuality, again, it's only a small little segment of the information that's out there. So which means there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, that we don't even know what's out there. Remember, there was a saying where they say you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book, right? And I heard that when I was young, and I always had resentment for that, which is why, probably one of the reasons why I read a lot, even if I don't enjoy it. I don't even read, but I don't read for entertainment, number one. I only read for like education and information, which is probably why I don't do audiobooks, because audiobooks, you can listen to this stuff, but you can be distracted by other things and not actually get the information that you need. I mean, it's hard enough to read, and stay focused on just reading, on reading the book. But anyway, like I said, this is going to be hopefully the first video in a long series, because again, we have got to get into books. One, I'm firmly against anything digital, whether it's books or whether it's music or even videos, right? I'd rather have DVDs. Hell, I'd rather have a VHS tape. I'd rather have a book, compared to versus a Kindle subscription. I'd rather have, rather have a DVD compared to buying something on Amazon Prime. Now, if it's something that just for entertainment purposes, yeah, I might buy it rent it on Amazon Prime or whatever case, watch it on Hulu, whatever. Get in, get out, and get on with my life. But when it comes to like tangible information that I know that can be important to my livelihood, the livelihood of my people, I'm gonna go get a book. I mean, like case in point, remember when Kyrie Irving was going through that issue about he watched a video about from Hebrew to Negro, and the world was in an uproar, and wanted pretty much this man to be castrated, tarred and feathered, and drugged down the street pretty much. And they say because he watched a video or watched a movie that was on Amazon Prime, right? And the big uproar because they're saying he's getting in trouble, but Amazon and Jeff Bezos, not getting in trouble because they still promoting the video. But basically it's just about money. That's, bottom line. So instead of going to Amazon Prime and watching the movie, I went, and bought the set. This is the volume 3, it's volume 1, 2, and then this is volume 3. I have not read this yet, no volume, but like you say, you're doing it for just the whole space. No, because my problem is I buy books, I'll start reading the book, and then I'll see a video where someone talks about some information that I think is important, and then they'll bring a book like Dr. Carr. God, I can't think of his first name, but I see he does a segment called, I can't think of the name of it, Riding with Carr or something like that. But anyway, he talks about books that he's read. He be on like Roland Martin's show, and Karen Hunter. He be on Karen Hunter's show on YouTube, and he be on some of Roland Martin's segments. And the guy, he's a professor. And he talks about how he go every city he goes to, he'll try to find a black bookstore and try to find rare books and this, that, and the third. He's a professor, and when he does his interviews, when they interview him, this guy is in the room. And you see nothing but books. You see shelves, wall, line, nothing but books. And he have books all around him sitting on the floor. And they'll be talking about something. He'll say, oh man, matter of fact, and he'll go run some other part of the house or wherever the hell he's at, and come back with a book, and he'll start, showing these pages. Like, matter of fact, in this book, in this page right here, it says this. Let me read it right quick. And it's like, dang, this dude got thousands upon thousands of books. He got books off somewhere else. We got a bunch of books, but the guy is a scholar. I may not agree. I'm just gonna say I don't agree with some of his political views when it comes to the Democratic Party and this and the third, and his love for the Democratic Party. But I know the man has a lot of wisdom, and so he kind of influenced me to really get back into reading a lot. So that's what I started doing. So my point is, like I said, I'll read a book, get some information about a subject matter that I find interesting, and then I'll find a book that talks about it, and then I'll buy it, and then I'll sit on the shelf because I'm still reading books. So it got to a point where I even stopped buying. I tried to stop buying books for a while because I needed to catch up on some of the reading that I was currently doing, and then mess around and got an itch and start back buying. But anyway, with that being said, the first topic I want to talk about is businesses in the black community and how foreigners are able, like, why do we see like Asians and Indians and anyone else but black people with businesses in the black community? And it was funny because there was this woman on TikTok, and I'm gonna play what she said. An Asian woman, matter of fact. And the question on her TikTok page was asked, why isn't there any Chinese food or Asian stores in white neighborhoods? Can you touch on that? Because that would give a lot of clarity. All right. So then this Asian woman says this.
Yes, this is really important. Asian Americans were redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods.
Pretty much everyone was redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods. But I know she's answering the question, so let me just let it play out.
Because white people didn't want Asian Americans operating in their neighborhoods and didn't want Asian Americans profiting off of white people. But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities.
Now, when I heard this, all I could do was grin on the inside from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat, because I said to myself, but I also frowned like I'm doing right now, because I said to myself, I'll be damned. Exactly what this woman said, I just read this in a book. Hold on.
And as I said before, as a result of this, black wealth is essentially paid out twice when it goes to Asian American businesses. Once when the individual pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian American business owner removes the profit from the community. Okay, so I'll stop it right there. So let me play it on a few seconds. Because usually people open businesses in their own communities, and this is mutually beneficial, where the business owner is making a livelihood off of providing goods and services to their community. And by being a member of the community, they're contributing and they're investing back into the community. This is an ideal situation, and that is not what happens with Asian American businesses operating in black communities.
So, like I said, she was answering the question the sister asked, like, why are there no Asian businesses in white neighborhoods? But that's not what I'm gonna talk about. Like I said, when I heard this woman say this, and she said she had another video about this same topic too. First thing I thought was, like I said, I read this in a book. As a matter of fact, I just got done reading. As a matter of fact, this is a book. And I know I have probably showed this cover a few times in a couple of my videos, but this book here, The Color of Money, Black Banks and a Racial Wealth Gap by Mercer Baradadaran, I believe. It's a black woman. I don't know if she's foreign or not, or whatever. This book was published in 2017, about 5 years ago. This is a 10-year study that this sister did, where she did in-depth investigation to where she talks about the racial wealth gap starting from the end of slavery, from the promising of the 40 acres and a mule to how these foreigners were able to create banks, how black people, as we know, couldn't get loans, the Jim Crow era, the sharecropping, all that stuff, and much, much more. Like I said in this book here. So when this woman here, this Asian woman, comes out with this video, you got people who comment and said, thank you for sharing, thanks for being honest, why don't people believe this? Well, because again, it's in the book. Someone said, about time somebody said it. I'm sitting there thinking, again, it has been said. Now she broke it down into a 2-minute soundbite, which will keep people's attention. I get it. But like I said, if you want to know the depth of it, you need to read this book. And people might say, oh, Marlon's just one book. You know what I'm saying? This woman, how you know what she says is true? You don't, but you do. Because if you have any questions, at the end of this book, and this is about a 200 and almost a 300 page read totally, she got notes, and I mean like almost 100 pages worth of notes, to where you can see where she researched everything, and you can figure it out for yourself. All you gotta do is Google. It's as simple as that. But again, like I'm saying, my point is, again, like I said, we don't read. Now, this lady says that white people didn't want Asians to do business in white neighborhoods, so they give them loans to do business in black neighborhoods. Well, here's the thing. Like I say, the banks, the people that own the money, would not give loans to us. Most of our people over history, lived in what they call ghettos. There's always monetarily, it's always a high risk to do business in poor communities, no matter what the color is. But unfortunately, a lot of our communities are at or below the poverty line, because in poor communities, crime rate tends to increase. That's just a fact. So white people, number one, they didn't want to, and this is for any type of black business. If you ever look at the history, you read, tell you like this, if you read multiple books, you'll see what it is, and look at the history of this country. White people did not want to be next to black people, segregated, okay? But what they realize is there is money in the black community. And so they're like, we need to find, or they will try to find ways to exploit the black community in a way, shape, or form to get that money. You look at like the Tulsa riots, or Oklahoma, and that's another topic on another video that I'll hit later. It was segregated. Tulsa, blew up, and they said that white people were so mad that they destroyed the town. Well, they just didn't like black people. I don't care. I really don't think it being a rich part of town, or black people have a lot of money, really played a part in it. I think it's just their nature. Because, shoot, if they get mad enough, I've seen them like destroy, poor people in neighborhoods too. They don't discriminate when it comes to stuff like that. They mad if they want to come get you, and they want a reason. You give them a reason to come get you. Not saying it's a legitimate reason, but in their eyes, you give them a reason to come out and destroy your town. They will. I've seen them destroy small little baby towns and vast towns like the Gap or Greenwood. What was it? Greenwood, Arch, and the Pine, I believe. In Tulsa. But anyway, they destroyed it. It was actually rebuilt, which is something that is not being promoted, which is not being told. Again, I bring it up in a different video. And what ultimately destroyed it was actually integration, because integration in this country only goes one way. The money goes out, but the money doesn't come back in. So again, they have perfected that. So you have foreigners come in, want to start businesses, but they don't have a big population to where they can make a lot of money off of their own people and keep it in their community. But you have white people and you have blacks, and now you have Hispanics. And these foreigners come in from, oil-rich country for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not even gonna speculate that here, but this is what I want to get to. The ghettos, like I said, is high risk when it comes to money, loans, but the powers that be know that there's money there, and they'll bleed you dry for the rest of your life. That's that residual income that they know that'll keep coming in and will never stop coming in as long as they can have you sitting there begging and borrowing, like title loans, for instance. People get title loans. If you pay the minimum payment, you'll be paying for years to come, and that's what they want. No matter if the interest rates and the fees are damn near illegal or definitely immoral, hey, as long as they know that y'all gonna pay something. And if you don't pay it, they just take the property. So it's a win-win for the people with the money. So, but again, they pretty much say that giving loans to people that live in these communities is a high risk because of the crime, right? But so with that being said, the people that have money, the white people, they're not going to go in and put businesses in those communities and use their direct money, use their own money to do that, because, like I say, it's a high risk crime rate, theft, vandalism, or what have you. Then they'll lose their own money. So what they'll do is they'll give money to Asians. Say, we don't want them, and they don't want Asians in their community either. So what they'll say, hey, we'll give you money, but if we loan you money, this is where you have to do your business. And they'll tell them to go to the black communities where the white people own the land. And what they'll do is they'll give Asians high interest rate loans, tell them to start their business in the community, give them subpar products. When you go in these stores, you see the day-old bread. They out of business stores. I even say this, like, for example, in DeSoto, Texas, it used to be, back in the day, it was like what you call old money, middle class people, whites, blacks, whatever. Nice neighborhood, clean, upstanding neighborhood. Over time, they allow more low-income families, people to come in, i.e., most of our black community. In a place I thought I'd never see it, which is next to a Chase Bank, they have a store. It's like a little convenience store. You go in there and it's, I guess, an Arabian, what do you call it, Indian, Mid-Eastern Indian, real Indian, not American Indian, but the ones like from India. On a little convenience store. As soon as you walk in, you just smell smoke residual. Just, dingy. The shelves are not stocked fully. They got, t-shirts, old t-shirts, do-rags, stuff like that. Cigarettes, beer, whatever the case. Little small, little ragtag, community store for our community. but they got the little slot machines in there, you know, and it's just, I mean, it's just dingy. I mean, I'm sitting here looking like, man, black folks don't realize how bad they do us. We got to get out of this community. Matter of fact, hell, a Dunkin' Donuts that's in that same city. I go and order like an avocado toast. I get the damn avocado toast. You know, the damn, I get to eating the damn avocado is cold. It's like it's toasted, like it came out too quick. Even like the menu items there are different than if you go like to Plano, which is like north and most like suburban, mainly white, big money. You go to Dunkin' Donuts up there, man, their menu, food items is like 10 times better than what's over there in DeSoto. Whatever. But anywho, like I said, so back to this. They give them loans, high interest rate, high risk loans, tell them go into these stores, tell them go into these communities, create these businesses. They sell subpar products at high price. The thing is, once these people loan these Asians this money, now the Asians are on the hook. White folk, their loans are like backed by banking. So even if the Asians default on it, somehow the powers that be can get their money back. So if they pay back the loans, then the white businesses or the white banks, you know, make their money back with interest, still keeping their foot on the necks of the black community, keeping them from, you know, even prospering, because they know the Asians somehow, like I said, are going to pay them back one way or another. But they're afraid that, you know, black folks, if you ain't got no money, you ain't got no capital, shoot, you know, so they're not going to loan you anything because we don't have it. I mean, a lot of us don't have that kind of money to get loans. And even if we did have money to get the loans, because I know a guy who got a business who said he was with a bank for decades and had thousands of dollars in the bank and tried to get a loan that was equal to what he had in the bank, and they wouldn't give it to him. So that happens too. So don't get it twisted. But when you got Asians that come in and say I need a loan, because a lot of times they come over here in America and like give them money and allow them to work here like tax free. Sometimes these people are work for the government overseas, and when they come over here, they say, okay, here you go. You know, I'm gonna let you, open up this business because of what you did for us. You know, they give them money. You know, there's a guy I know was in the military. Asian dude got, Indian dude, whatever, got like 4 or 5 tire shops in the hood because he helped train some of the military forces, American military soldiers, sent back in his home country. Came over here tax-free, got tax money, got paid big money, used that money, opened up tire shop. We don't get those kind of breaks like that. But anyway, so you got Asians that come over here, they'll have some kind of capital, they'll have collateral. And so they'll get the loans, but then the white folks say, you can't put the businesses in our community. You got to put it in the black community and sell this stuff to them. And then we're not going to give you the best product. We're going to give you these, like I say, you're going to have to buy these day-old or these subpar products and sell it in the community. Don't worry, they'll buy it. And it kind of, puts that barrier between them and us to where, like I said, if a crime happened, well, the agent is responsible for it. Something like theft, the agent's gonna have to figure out a way to get that money to them. If there's somebody gets shot and killed, oh well, it was them, it's not us. That's how they're thinking. But anyway, my point is, read that in this book. And it's been a minute, so I can't really find out where it is, because like right now I'm in the middle of reading another book about the tax laws and how it's discriminatory against us, not really, overt racism, but it's kind of like because of how the system is set up, the tax laws benefit the other folk instead of us. But like I said, I'll get to that in a later video. But yeah, so like I said, what this lady said was true. It was true. But again, what she said You can find it in this book. And like I said, this goes in way more detail than what she's talking about. This is just a sound bite so people can say, oh man, that's wrong. And that's not right. And what can we do to fix it? Many white folks are wrong. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Instead of you getting into people like to complain and get upset about stuff, but nobody ever wants to come up with a solution. But that's why I like to read, because I want to figure out how things can be fixed, or if it can be fixed. Because I'm gonna tell you like this before I go. This racial wealth gap. Anybody who's a scholar, who claims to be a scholar, whether it's on Black history, whether it's financial or anything, and they can tell you all this information, and they can sell you all these courses on how to, fix the financial wealth gap and how to create generational wealth and all this kind of stuff. Anybody who supposedly know this information, and all scholars and all, professionals and know how to fix everything, tell you how to fix everything, they will if they were truthful, they'll tell you that there is no way, shape, or form in the near future that this wealth gap will ever shrink. It won't. And they will not lead their economic courses or all they the talking points will not lead with shrinking the wealth gap. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even bring it up, because what I would say is, look, there is a wealth gap that has been created that has got so astronomical, and these people have 200, 300, 400 year head start on this, that there's no way in hell it's going to be that we're going to catch up in no time soon. Even with reparations, we won't catch up with them people no time soon. There's no way it can happen in this country. So the only thing that you should worry about is figuring out how to financially set yourself up and your family up to be able to sustain themselves for years and generations to come. And it won't be easy. And one of the first things you have to do is figure out a way to buy an asset. Whether it's land to where you can grow crops, put animals on, somehow maybe put houses on it and be able to rent out houses, a deer lease, a hunt lease, something. Or buying a car, which most people would say would be like, it's not an asset, it's a liability, or depreciate, but it's a depreciating asset. Or buying a car and figure out a way to use it, not to do Uber Eats, because that's just, you'll never get rich off of doing Uber Eats and stuff like that, and Grubhub. But using your car to rent out, lease cars out for daily basis, or buying a van and trying to do like transportation for people that's unable to drive themselves. Whatever the case may be, but figure out a way to buy assets to where it can somehow at least make you money and bring money in, so you don't have to work as hard to bring it in yourself. That's the first. I think that's the first topic that should be brought up, because assets are important. Saying poor people and middle class people that say don't buy assets. Rich people buy assets like stocks, getting investment accounts. They can buy like mutual funds and IRAs and things of that nature, stuff that's just gonna, accumulate wealth over time, because you're not gonna get rich quick. Everybody's harping on this what's called reparations thing, which I, for one, hey, if they're gonna give me the check, I'm gonna take it. But do I expect them to give it to her? Nah, not no time soon, because it's been brought up since the end of the Civil War. It's not the first time that reparations has been brought up and even gotten this much traction. A lot of times it's probably during election time or whatever, but hey, we don't know fools that fall for stuff like that. But in the meantime, until that man write me my check, bring me my money, I'm gonna do everything I can again to purchase assets and to create something, businesses, something that's gonna help, it's gonna bring in money, that's gonna keep me from, damn near killing myself working for somebody else. That's the number one goal. And it doesn't happen overnight. Matter of fact, you may start something that, like Moses, you might not even see the promised land when he was doing the Exodus. But you're doing something that your kids and your grandkids can build upon, so that, like I say, money is always coming in, and you can create generational wealth. Don't worry about catching up to white man. Don't worry about trying to, catch up to the white folks and with that wealth gap. That's futile. That's unnecessary energy that'll get you nowhere but continued frustration if that's what you're trying to do. Because what you're going to do is you're going to say, oh man, white man owe me this because they did this like this for the last 400 years. Where's my money? And they're like, oh, well, let me think about it. And then all the while, all around you, they're giving money to Ukraine. All around you, they're giving money to, what do you call it, asylum seekers to stay for free in these cities. When you got so many homeless people, you got so many black people that's in poverty or even below poverty, to where it's like, when you ask to help out our people, you have no money, you gotta do studies, you gotta look into it, not in the budget, whatever. But then the asylum seekers come over here and somehow you got, Chicago, $51 million to house these folks in the school, and that money's gonna run out in a month. So you're gonna need more money. New York done spent $1.2 billion to house these immigrants. And then they get mad at Texas governor and Florida governor and Arizona and them governor for shipping those people up to those cities. But y'all don't want to say that y'all were asylum, safe havens, for asylum seekers or whatever. So there you go. Because we've been dealing with it forever. But now, since you got people who say, hey, y'all come up, they told people they can come up there, they can have refuge in those cities. Well, here you go. You got a burden because we got enough on our own. But anyway, that's all I got for this, man. Tell me what you think. Like I said, the lady, she came with facts. She came with good points. But again, what she said in 2023 was put in the book 5 years ago. I mean, I'm sure it's in other places, because again, in the book she has notes on where she got all the information from. So this is like nothing that she made up. This is history. She researched it and put in the book so that someone like me can read it and get all the information under a few hundred pages, and then Google anything I got a question on. So my point is, like I say, man, read a book. Stop letting other people tell you information that's already out there, that our people probably done put out there and told you. Y'all don't want to hear it, but then somebody else say it, and oh my gosh, it's like gospel. Man, get out there and read a book, read some books, get some knowledge in your brain. Because like I say, I'd rather have tangible stuff, because that digital stuff at any given time can be wiped out the cloud, and then you have nothing. There have been times where societies have destroyed books, have banned people like ourselves from reading and learning. So now if everything is online and they feel like this information is too dangerous for their plan, they can just wipe it off the internet, and then you have nothing. when you can sit there and fight for it and this, that, and the third. But all I gotta do is say, once it's gone, it's gone. And say, hey, when we get copies of the book, we'll send you one. They won't send you one, but if you have your own copies, you can always go back and do the research yourself and figure out how to fix the problem that you're in. But with that being said, like I say, tell me what you think. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. And with that being said, I leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.